me see if I can share this again as usual, because I usually don't get to share it until before. I can see the break. All right, let's find it first. Whoa, let's see who's gonna be the first in the house. Let's see if it's Casey. Usually it's her, but if it's not, it's fine. What am I looking for? Hold on. All right, okay. Oh, there we are. I see it. All right. Let me see if I put this on, if I can see properly. Yeah. When you guys come on, if the ring light is messing around with it, you can tell me because I can't hold my head up like this. I have to keep it like this. But when you come on, you can tell me, oh, ads are playing. Look at this. That's nice. So when you come on in, hi Christopher, good night, good evening. Thank you for coming. Be sure to like. I'm trying to share this. I'm waiting for the ads to run. Then I will share and then we will begin. So, yes. And you're the first one in tonight before Casey even. That's historic. I keep seeing the ring light in the glasses. So, yeah, I don't know what to do with it. Hi, Casey. Oh, when I get closer, maybe it's a little bit better. I don't know. Ring light and the glasses not gonna really work. Hi there, Casey. Welcome. Oh, I mean, but watch here. Don't forget that I am. What's that? No, I'm fine. Thank you. I'm sharing this out and then Casey me beat you to it. Yes, you did. You sure did. I am just sharing this out quickly. And then we will get into it. That's what for. Yeah, man, Casey, you get beaten this evening, but that's fine. It's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be an interesting discussion. Casey, look on the thumbnail and see where you see. I was trying something, but boy, I don't know if it worked or not, but hey, it is what it is. But I think this evening we're gonna have a nice little discussion. I think I shared it out already, so yes. Tell me if you observe anything on the thumbnail, Casey. Anywho, all right, let me jump right into it because I don't intend to be too long. So the thumbnail and the question this evening that we're asking is, how do you rest? You know, oftentimes people will talk about resting, and when they talk about resting, they talk about sleeping. And sleeping is not the only way that you rest. There are so many other ways that you can rest, and we're going to talk about a few of them this evening. I'm going to be talking about what I do to rest and reset in a number of ways. And then she's not. I know a lot of you will think about, as I said, sleeping, but I'm going to talk about a couple of others. And as you come in, you can feel free to say hello, say like the live, and tell us how you rest otherwise, because we want to change this narrative that rest only means sleeping, because sleeping is not the only way that we rest, right? So shall we begin? Let me see here. Casey, we're back at it again. I'm going to try to hold my eyes a certain way. All right. So the ways that we're going to be talking about this evening, we're going to be talking about the physical rest, the spiritual rest, the psychological rest, and the financial rest. And I'm excited to talk about all of these areas. I'm trying to maneuver to see which way. Yes, what do you think about the thumbnail, Casey? See the grays more? Not the grays are gonna be grays. You didn't see it, so if you didn't see it, then that means it's fine. So people are not seeing it, so it's all right. But did you see it, Chris? Do you notice anything about the thumbnail? Anywho, all right, so we're going to get into it. And as I mentioned before, oftentimes when we talk about resting, a lot of people usually revert to or think about resting in terms of sleep. This evening, we're going to change that narrative a little bit and talk about other ways to rest. So, I will talk about the usual one that people think. We'll start with the physical first, right? So for me, when I want to rest physically, I want to rest my body, I sleep, right? So I try my best to get rest. And you see how that comes in? Got it? Yeah. So I try my best to sleep. So that is how I rest my body physically. And I also try to have a day like today. It's usually on a Saturday. I know I'm not a Seventh-day Adventist, but it's usually on a Saturday that I try not to exert too much energy. So you love it? Thanks, Casey. So I throughout the day I try to ensure that I prepare everything beforehand. So on the day I'm just resting. So I'm not focused on too much, but no, Chris, she's coming after me. So she normally comes at 8. So she'll be live. Yes, because I put my head on there. Anyway, you'll see later. You finally caught on, yes. But so I try not to exert too much energy. And I try to just breathe and enjoy nature a little bit. And that is so important. Like a lot of us, we don't stop to do that. I try to just stop and look at God's creation and just be like, okay, this is how I rest. I also have momentary ways that I rest, like a rest periods. One way that I do that is that I will, apart from breathing, so I'll go to the beach or by a river. I feel like this is, and then I will, yeah. That's exactly what I did. I was like, look, this person don't look like me, so that's what I did. But yeah, so I will go to a river, I'll go by the beach, I will listen to the sounds of the water, and that relaxes my mind. It also helps me to just connect with nature in a different way, I think, and it causes my body to just go into a resting mode, right? It's funny that I say that because while I was doing the half moon video, you have to turn that down, please. While I was doing the half moon video, I remember, it's not on the video, you wouldn't see it, but I went to the beach. Thank you, Chris. Chris is saying, come on, Secret Watchers, tap the screen and join the live. Yes, please, feel free to do so. It's free and it's me. It's a vibe. So I was at half moon and I went to the beach because sometimes you hardly get to go on even with your foot, right? And that is how I relax. So I went to the beach and I came back up and I went on the balcony and I was just there, just relaxing, just listening to the sound of the water and the wind and the whole 9 yards. Next thing I knew, I was waking up. I don't know when me doze off. And I knew that my body was tired. So just because that is the way that I relax, I just fell asleep. And so I will tell people all the time, I'll go by the beach. Hi. Relax with Melissa. And I just said relax. Look at that. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure to like and tell us where you're watching from. Yeah, man. So because that is how I relax, it automatically, my body just went into the relax mode and I fell asleep. And I was saying, I can tell people that I can go by the sea or the beach or by a river and I will not swim. New Zealand, wow, welcome. What time is it there? And I will not swim, I will not get wet any at all, but I will leave feeling so refreshed. At worst, if I get to wet my feet, or as we call it in Jamaica, wet my foot. Oh, so it's earlier in the day. Is it 1 p.m. Sunday or is it 1 p.m. on Saturday? Like 1:10 p.m. Saturday. Yeah, man. So that is how I rest physically. How do you rest physically? Chris, Casey, Melissa, how do you rest physically? What are some of the things that you do to rest? And it's very important that we note what we do or what we don't do. So this evening we will hear about things that we do, understand how we do it, and then we'll hear from people. Sometimes when you hear from people what they do, it will give you ideas in terms of how you can rest as well. So feel free to share it with us. If you're shy and don't want to share, that is fine. Yes, yes, watch TV and doze off. That's good. That's good. A lot of people do that, or listen to something in the background and doze off. Meditate, mindfulness, music, isolation to bring peace. Those are all awesome ways of resting, right? So we're now going to move into, we just went into the physical ways while eating my apple to stay healthy. All right, so we're moving from the physical ways and we're going now into the spiritual ways that we rest. And I will tell you, and feel free to tell me, or you can ask questions or so on, whatever you'd like to do in the life. So for me, one way that I rest spiritually is, it's funny, bless you. It's funny, it's a reading. Yes, you lie down and doze off mostly, Casey, that's good, but you should also think about other ways to rest physically. Like I try, it's hard, especially when you have a 9 to 5 and then you come home to your house 9 to 5 or your 5 to 9, and then it's always that you're seeing work. You always have work to do. So you're like, you know what? Let me figure out how to do this. But yes, it's always important to find a way to rest. For me, for spiritually, it's funny because when I look at what do you call it now? Spiritually, this is something that I realized recently that happens. Yeah, you start with for me, like I read, and reading sometimes leads to me sleeping. So like, generally you pray and you leave things, you're like, I'm leaving things up to God, but there's also reading that leads to sleeping, so that, hold on guys. So reading leads to sleeping. So for me, I will, do general devotional and stuff, and then now we're reading the books of the Bible with a couple of my friends, and sometimes you find yourself saying, okay, I want to go into this, but then you find yourself dozing off, and you're like, wait, how did that happen? But that is one too. For me, spiritual rest is trusting that God is in control. That is what I do. It doesn't matter what happens. I try my best to remember. Sometimes you get shaky because even during right after Melissa, I was like, not that I doubted that God was in control, It was just that it shook me up a little bit. I was like, whoa, what is happening here, And one of the main things I do is that I trust that God is in control, and I have my little worship session. So whether it's, like the little songs that you worship and because your life itself is a worship to God, but we won't get into that. But yes, Casey, so we have the same thing on our list, it seems like, because I have that coming up. I'm an introvert, so I find a quiet room to work. It helps me to refocus, and I work. Okay, that's good. Yeah. And I know when you work in that open plan, sometimes you don't even get a moment to really think, so that is good. So for me, I have worship sessions and what I call Jesus parties in my vehicle. So yeah, all the time. It's always been a dream of mine to have my own vehicle that has music, and I've been living that dream for a number of years now, and I thank God for it. And because of that, sometimes when I'm maybe done with work or done with a stressful situation, I turn to music to kind of de-stress or to rest my mind and to regroup, reset. So even some mornings I might be going into work and I'm exhausted, but that music, there's some music that will revive you. I don't know how to explain it, but yes. So that for me, I mentioned reading already, and Casey and I, we have the same thing here, listening to inspirational videos. For me, Miles Monroe is my go-to. Like, when it come on to listening to inspirational stuff, while I will listen to others as well, because Dave Ramsey and his podcast, I'll go into that, his radio series, go into that when we're talking about financially. But in terms of spiritually, Miles Monroe is usually my go-to. I will listen to sermons from other people and messages and so on. But if I'm feeling like I'm in a little space that I need to jump out of, his messages are always so timely. And it's funny because he passed away a while back, but messages are still valid today, and that is the importance of a good message. So that is, so we went through this physical rest, that you sleep and you do other things and get some time by yourself to just rest. And we went through the spiritual rest, where we talk about spending time with God, finding ways to. Yes, you saw that in my last video, Chris. I tried to show a little clip of it without causing anybody to flag me or anything. So I was like, let me give you a little glimpse. Yeah, man. So that is what I do all the time. Or I listen to an audio book, or if I have company, we'll talk. So if it's Casey, I'll talk her ears off to Moby. But if not, that's what I do. But yes. All right, Casey, you can go ahead and hang out your clothes. I'll be here. But how long? Yeah. So we just started. I feel like I've been here for so long. Anywho, I am going to continue then. When it's time to wrap out, I shall wrap out. Right? Yes, so I try not to get into any problems. So I just show a little clip. So that was Samuel Madas. He's my go-to guy these days when it comes on to what we call in Jamaica gospel reggae. Or yeah, I think so. So yeah. So we went on the spiritual. Now we're moving into the psychological. What are some of the ways that you can rest mentally? Just mentally feel like, okay, I'm giving myself a little respite. What can we do? Anybody wants to give it a go? I know Casey won't give it a go because she said she went to hang out clothes. All right, so one of the first things that I like to do for myself to rest mentally is rest physically. It sounds funny, but yes. So just take a moment and stop. Stop what I'm doing, stop a lot of the things. Yes, Christopher. Relax in silence. That is very important. One of the first things I like to do is to just stop a little bit and psychologically to regroup. I will, if I'm feeling anyway overwhelmed and all of those things, I try to talk. First of all, I talk to God, and I talk to God the way I would talk to my family members these days, or friends, because I've gotten to the place where that is how we communicate. So like if something is happening, I'm like, Father God, I remember when I'm saying that to say, when my tire got burst on the highway, and I remember coming out and I said, Father God, I don't know how we're gonna do this, and I'm up here tonight, and nobody else not up here in the place dark. So you have to work it out for me, or when I go to sleep up here, or we're talking. And I was funny. I was like, all right, let's see what this experience is gonna be. So that is one thing I normally do. I'll talk to God about my feelings. Also, one thing I will do apart from stopping, so I stop physically, talk to God. Another thing that I will do is assess how I'm feeling, because there is a lot of times people are unable to describe the emotions that they feel. Let me throw on this little bit for my little eyes and feel anything. So a lot of times people are unable to describe the emotions that they're feeling, and as such, they can't put it into words, right? So when they're unable to put it into words, that is when now it becomes they're unable to guys, they're unable to action what they're feeling, or unable to combat the feeling, or you know what I mean, like figure out how to resolve it. And this the ring light in my eyes. But anyhow, so for me, I normally assess the feeling and then I try to work toward figuring out a solution. And the solution might be simply, stop worrying about it, it's fine. Or the solution might be, okay, let's deal with this, how it's supposed to be dealt with. And sometimes it's not the easy way. I'm moving my head because I'm trying to figure out how to get the ring light out. I don't know what to tell you, B. You either leave it or you don't, yeah. So putting put putting words to the feelings that you have is very important if you're going to be able to rest psychologically. Because if you're feeling anxious and there's no need to feel anxious, at least you're gonna say, why am I feeling so anxious? You know, if you're feeling sad and there's a reason for you to be sad, you say, why am I feeling so sad, and that kind of stuff. Yes, you know, we do have them on the highway, but what if I told you at that time I didn't even think about that? Because you're like, wait, what is happening? Never in your wildest dreams would you think that, hey, this would happen to me. And it would happen to me now, like at a dark spot at the top. It was so cold. I think it was maybe 18 degrees Celsius or in the teens Celsius. And I was like, wait, what is going on here? That night, you know, I wrap up my head, put on my jacket, put on a scarf, everything. But thankfully, a police came and there was a police pickup, and I still can't find a police. Afterwards, I called everywhere. Hi, Robert, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I was trying to find, you know, this police officer to formally say, thank you very much. I really believe you saved my life, kind of vibe. Couldn't find him. A colleague of mine said she believed it was an angel that came. But yes, so talking to God for me has really become something that I try to do first, because sometimes when we talk to other people, and as much as it's funny, because even sometimes in the middle of feeling heated or stressed or whatever, I'll just say, Father God, help me, or Father God, give me the strength that I need to just go through this. It might just be simple, but to me it means a lot. Then once you're able to describe the feelings that you feel, you're able to now figure out how to resolve them. Because if you wake up feeling anxious and you have no reason to be anxious, you can remind yourself, be anxious about nothing, you know, but in everything, in prayer and supplication, make your request known unto the Lord, with thanksgiving, of course. But those things, you know, those are the things that I will do. I also mentally, for me, I mentioned the beach already, so I always try to, if I get to go to the beach, it relaxes me in a way that I can't explain. Or by the river, just hearing the water run just relaxes me. You see me, I close my eyes because I'm picturing myself there. So yes, that is something that I do. And a big thing that I do, that is very important to not just me, for everybody. No man is an island, no man stands alone. For my mental health, my psychological rest, I spend time around family and friends. When I get a good laugh when I'm around my family, it is like no other. That to me takes you out of, it doesn't matter what you have going on personally, at work. Otherwise, it's just in that moment. Is mosquito realist, ma'am, sir? In that moment, it just helps you. Because I remember when we went to, that's the one say, Chris, when we went to Moby after. So we went to St. James and Hanover right after Melissa, and we saw the devastation and everything. And mind you, at the time, there's still no electricity back at home, but a family member had a generator, so we had one light bulb there, and we were sitting around there, and we laugh, we laugh, we laugh, we laugh, we laugh. We were just sharing stories, family stories and experiences, and we were just laughing. And I was saying to Casey, you know, if there's something that this trip gave me, was laughter, and I really appreciated that. So that is something that I do. So my friends and my family, whenever we get together, it's always laughter and it's always good. it's good too to have people that you can talk to. So a lot of times people are going through things and they sometimes feel embarrassed or they feel alone, so they don't say anything to anyone. And when they do that, it just causes the stress to be more and more and more and more. When you take a moment to share, even the facts that, look here, now, you know, something about me too, and your friend will say, you know, say, other day when me about me too, me said, what? It feel like it's a blinky. You know what I mean? And then you both can say, okay, it can validate what you're feeling, and it also can allow you to see that other people feel the same way as well. So, Chris, back to your question. I would say yes. It's funny. I like to travel, but I'm a homebody. So whenever I am not traveling, I stay home. Or whenever I'm home, I'm home. I don't know how to explain that. So I get excited to travel, but I get excited to stay home, especially when I'm around my parents. I love to be home. But if I'm going out, I like to see things. I like to be out there, yeah, to hear, watch the little birds and fly as much as downtown when they fly around. I don't know if you've seen that video, Chris. It was an older video. I think it's Raytown Fishing Village or something like that. But I was sharing the story of how one of them just left me a gift right here, like a white gift. I was like, whew, but I think so. To answer your question, I think so. All right, so we're going to move now into, so well, let me ask you, what do you do to rest psychologically? How do you reset psychologically? Me and this take on and put, take off and put on, take off and put on. Let me see if I can just keep my head like this, if it will work. But I'm one that gesticulates a lot, so I don't know how that will go. But yeah, go ahead, let me know, what do you do to rest psychologically? Sometimes you have to shut off the noise too and stuff, you know. So for me, like, there are some times when if I'm gonna turn off my phone, or if I'm gonna put it on vibrate or something, I'll tell my parents or my siblings, because I don't want them to worry. Because I know, especially my mother, if she calls me twice and she doesn't get me, she'll ask one of my siblings, probably Casey, because Casey is closer to me in terms of vicinity. Have you heard from her before? Today, and if she said no, then everybody will start calling. It's like a what do you call it, like a domino effect kind of vibe, and I don't want them to be worried. So because of that, I will just let them know, look, you probably won't hear from me, I'm going to rest. So yes, I love to go for a walk in nature. Yeah, man, a nature walk does a whole lot for you, like more than you can even imagine. And the fresh air too, you know, just the fresh air, the sunlight does a lot for you. And I find that we're in a society now where a lot of times we want to stay indoors. I mean, I'm guilty of it sometimes. I know, right, Casey? I'm guilty of it sometimes where, you know, you're running from the sun, especially when we have events that are outdoor and we have to be outside all the time. Like sometimes I'm like, this is hot. But it's good for you. It helps. It helps. All right. And so now we're at one final area. I think the same thing. It's not good to turn off your. Well, yeah, yes and no. So like, if I do it as I said, I will tell somebody. So the people that are important to me will know. So any one of them who's calling would have contact. So there's nobody that is gonna be worried to say. So if I'm gonna do it, if I put it on silent or vibrate, sometimes I put it on vibrate and it still disturbs you. Like it will be ringing, and you know, you're putting it on vibrate, but you hear it. You still hear it, and that is the thing. Oh, but my people will know that I'm fine. But sometimes you just need to shut out everything else and rest. You and God. Robert, I'm sorry to hear that though. Are you, from my recollection, you're not living in Jamaica at the moment, are you? Are you living here now, Robert? Yeah, man, Melissa was quite a traumatic. Guys, I'm still hearing you, please. Hello? I can still hear you. Um, Melissa was quite a traumatic experience for a lot of us. Just looking at the rainfall, people not having electricity, people not having food, water, shelter, the whole 9 yards. It was quite traumatic. What are you saying? You're here, Robert, or no? Let me look. We call them cyclones in New Zealand, and we had really bad ones too. Oh wow. Trust me, man, when I tell you that Melissa was something like no other, right? But what I would say to you though, Robert, is whether you're here or you're overseas, it's a process. And when I was talking about how I would rest physically, we spoke about sleeping and finding ways to kind of just not exert too much energy. But when I spoke about mental rest, we spoke about the fact that you have to assess your feelings, right? So you have to understand what you're feeling that is contributing to you not sleeping. So is it a case where you are feeling anxious? Are you worried about your family? Are you feeling some sense of guilt? Are you feeling helpless? What are the feelings that you're feeling that are contributing to you not being able to sleep? So once you're able to identify those feelings, then we can move into know how do we resolve those issues. Guys, I'm still hearing, please. How do we resolve those issues? I'm going to have to go visit my daughter. Okay, no problem at all. No problem at all. You can go ahead and we will definitely catch up. We'll definitely catch up. No worries at all. We say, Christopher, you experienced Gilbert and it mash you up. Yeah, man. So when I went to Westmoreland and we were coming back, the just watching the rain starting and stuff, it was hard to see, because people were, oh, I am hearing you, you're whispering loudly. I what do you call it now? Just watching them, it was hard. But yes, so again, you have to identify the emotions that you are feeling. Casey are here too. So that means you wanna really, hey, Casey, run, come here, quick, quick, quick. Sure. Yeah, man. Until today, so that means it and so I'm assuming for you, Christopher, some things. So like if you see certain things or you hear certain things or smell certain things or a story is spoken about, it triggers that memory for Gilbert. I'm sure Melissa probably did the same thing for you if you're living in Jamaica. So Robert Clark, I'm hearing you, sir. Are you in Jamaica or no? Are you in Jamaica or no, Robert? So Melissa happened, how long was that? October. So that's over a month ago. So if this feeling has been persistent, oh, okay. All right, Christopher. If the feeling is persistent and it's been more than 2 weeks, so you're not living in Jamaica, but is it just that persistent feeling? I would definitely suggest that you talk to someone about it so you can identify the emotions that are leading to or contributing to the feeling of depression, and then you will figure out some plans of action in terms of how you will go forward. Can you turn that down for me to see how you can get out of this? It might be if you're in a place where there is also winter, that too contributes to that feeling, you know. So wait, oh, I'm trying to fix this light. Let me see if this that will contribute to that feeling, because I do know that there's seasonal depression. And do you know if that has anything to do with the fact that, do you think that is contributing to how you're feeling now? But either way, I would say figure out a way to just talk to someone. It's better to talk to someone and get it out in the open. Let me tell you something. You see, as Jamaicans, we have a habit to say, if you talk to somebody, one, you don't want to tell nobody your business, kind of want them take it because you are. Two, if you talk to somebody, that means you're mentally ill. It's the best thing you can do for yourself, you see? Just like any other illness or any other situation, if you are not well, you have to seek the support that you need. So if you're that hurt, you're going to take pill or go to the doctor. If you're hypertensive, you're going to take your medication. All of these things. A healthy person is a whole person. That means you're in a state of wellness, not only physically but mentally, right? So I would recommend that find somebody to talk to. Maybe you will have people who are experiencing the same thing. I know when it just happened, I was experiencing survivor's guilt for a good little while. Like, I remember eating a piece of curry goat, and I say, Jesus, may I eat curry goat, and the people that would really love piece of chicken now, just a basic thing, you know? And I felt a level of helplessness, or like I just felt stuck, like I couldn't do anything. And Casey and I, you know, we went out, we tried to help, but there was still so much that needed to be done. There was still so much, it felt a bit overwhelming at one point. But what I reminded myself was that, hey, you have two hands, it's not a literal thing, but two hands can only pick up two things. And if you're only able to help two people, then it's two of the amount. So if we all focused on two, we'd be helping a large number. But I'm saying all of that to say, if you're feeling some type of way, get the help. Don't worry about what anybody else says. I always tell people it's better for me to talk about it and to explain. I can't bother with this ring light. So let's just, how much minutes we have left? Yes. It's better for me to talk about it than to implode. It not gonna work, because I am not going to be walking unless it's God me I talk to. Yeah, I have to get out. You know what I mean? So I would really love to hear, Robert, that you know you're feeling a lot better. Maybe sometimes a trip to Jamaica will help you to, you know, if you can, because I know how it goes sometimes. But just talking to somebody, calling your family more, and then too, sometimes you can't even call them. I was telling a colleague of mine that there's a basic thing. I didn't take it for granted because I did it every day. I would call my parents every morning at a certain time. I would video call, right? Because they had internet and they had all of that. And then it dawned on me the other morning, this week, that I can't do that anymore. And then I tried to do it because my mom now has data. Still no electricity, but data. You know, the connectivity is coming back. And it was so blurred, everything. And I was like, you know, I'm happy that while I was able to do it, I did it. But it still makes you a little bit sad sometimes to be like, oh, I can't do it. But, you know, the reality is rebuilding is not going to be easy, but I am grateful that they're still here. You know, I heard Christopher saying that it damaged your house as well here, and I can't even begin to imagine. Let me not even say I can imagine, because I can't. What that is going to require of you to just kind of, you know, go about and rebuild and do what is necessary. But I hear a lot of people saying this, and that is something that is true in Jamaica now. They're saying, oh, they lost a lot, but they have life, and that is what they're grateful for. Welcome, welcome. I think this is Motivated to Soar, yeah? I know your handle is a little bit different from your name, but welcome aboard. Be sure to like the live. And she's saying that I nap, listen to soft music, read my Bible, pray, and do several things to find rest. That is so important. You know, it is important that you are able to find ways to rest for yourself. My way of resting might not be your way of resting, because you might be While it is a physical activity, you might love to run, but that is your way of resting psychologically. Yeah? My way of resting psychologically might be to read or to put my phone on silent or to turn it off, you know. We all have to find what our way is so that it can help us. I am still hearing you. Send help, Casey. Help me, help me, help me, dear Lord. Father, but yes. So that is it. So we're going to go now finally into the last segment of rest because we've spoken about. And while we're talking, you can feel free to put in what you do to rest physically, spiritually, and psychologically. So the final way that we're going to talk about now is financially. So what do you do to rest financially? This should be quite interesting. Let me know in the comments. If you've ever tried resting financially, put a 1 in the chat. I should put a 1. Let me put a 1 from now so we know that, yeah, I'm the first one to try that. Okay, Casey. All right, so what are some of the ways that you can rest financially? It might sound odd and it might sound weird, but you can rest financially. You know that, right? No window shopping. That's a good one. Deleting some of those apps. All right, but I will share my ways with you, and then you can share your ways with me, right? So one of the first things that I'm definitely gonna elaborate, Christopher. So one of the first things that I do to rest financially, in terms of resting, is I pay my bills on time and in full. I don't like, you see that uneasiness that comes with not having an outstanding bill. I don't like it. It throws me off completely. I see that you've rested financially as well, Robert. Yeah, man. That uneasiness that comes with. So the first thing I try to do is pay my bills and on time and in full. The second thing I try to do, which is very big, is I try to live within my means. A lot of people out there these days, mind you, I've not mastered it because there are some days I'm on my way to mastering it. Yes. So now you can share. I'm on my way to mastering it, but the reality is some months are a little bit better than others. Some are off, some are not so off. But I get the idea and I understand what it requires. So for me, it's living within my means. I have become very, very comfortable living within my means, and it has helped me to rest financially. So I don't try to keep up with the Joneses. I don't try to keep up with anyone else. I live the life that I am able to live or can live at this moment. Go ahead, open it. So that is what I do, and I would encourage you to do it as well. So just adding on to living within your means, it means that there are going to be some times when you have to say no to those parties, no to the invites, no to buying new clothes, no to buying the new car, no to buying the new shoes, no to going out to eat for dinner, knowing good and well, hey, some people are easy, you know. They will know that they have bills to pay, and they'll choose a party, they'll choose clothes, they will choose outing, vacation, everything over the bills, and then stress about that when that is the most important thing, I think, for me. Anyway, I practice contentment, right? That is one way that I rest financially. And it's not that you don't have goals, so I don't want anyone to misinterpret, right? Resting financially doesn't mean that you're not ambitious. It's not that you don't have goals. It's not that you don't want to achieve things in life. It just means that you have learned to be content in whatever state that you find yourself. You should learn to be content. Casey said, living it up. That's why you must not bad mind others. That's so true. Look here. You should not be jealous of people for what you see them with, because one, you don't know. There's a proverb in Jamaica that says, dog a sweat but long hair a cover it, or dog a sweat but long hair kiba it. Depends on where you are from in Jamaica, but it means the same thing. It means that outside it looks good, no one is seeing what is happening because all you're seeing is the flashy life, the good things about someone's life, but the reality is the sweat that they're sweating or the stress that they're experiencing, you are not seeing it because it is covered by all of those things. When the doors close and when no one is watching, that is when all of the stress unravels and unfolds. Make no one that. I have learned to be content in the state. You've never heard that before? No, I'm secret. I'm not gonna try to do that. One of these days, we're gonna talk about Jamaican sayings. So that is one of them. Everybody know every Jamaican muckle. Those are the things. But one of these lives, I will do that, the Jamaican sayings. But yes, so Casey was saying that's why it's important to not be jealous of people because you don't know what they go through. You will see somebody with a brand new car, new house, traveling a lot, all of those things, and to you, oh wow, I wish I had their life. But the reality is they can't sleep at night because they owe the bank for the new car, they're paying the mortgage, they have a credit card that is maxed out, they're doing the most, but it looks good to you, it looks attractive. I believe that if people could learn to be content, they would be in such a better place because while you are seeking to grow, you are living within your means. And that to me is financial peace. If you listen to Dave Ramsey, again, you will hear about financial peace and financial freedom. One of the best ways to rest financially is knowing that me no owe KC, me no owe VC, me no owe NC, me no owe JN, no one, right? I don't have a credit card, even though some of the times, credit card is more convenient and so on, but we figure out a way to maneuver that. But Visa debits are quite, the thing now. But for a lot of people, they're not able to do that because one, they're not able to tell themselves no, and they're not able to live in a way that allows them to say, okay, to be honest with themselves before they're honest with people. Because some people have this whole facade up, and they're the first to say yes and to look a certain way and to be a certain way. But the reality is, that's not their reality. They're very stressed. Don't be some people, be yourself. And one way that I rested financially, especially this year, no, we are not doing that. One way that I rested financially this year was my Casey, put it in the comments if you stop. Yes, you finish with your clothes? I think it's only Casey will be able to tell on this live. Let me look if I see if she's there. I'll give her a moment to see because I know she knows. Thank you very much. Ta-da! So my no buy year. I went on a no buy year this year, and I think this was one of the most challenging ones I've had for a while. And it's funny because it's not even the big things. I don't miss buying big things. I miss the smaller things. I missed having a watch, right? I went through, I think about from February, March, mash up, as we call it in Jamaica, yeah? And I'm not gonna buy the watch, and it's not, listen, good. It's not that I cannot buy the watch. It is just that I'm practicing saying no to myself for a little bit and hear how this works. So the no buy here helps you to focus on the things that helps you to appreciate the things that you already have, right? And to focus on only the things that you need. And doing that helps you to feel satisfied. That is how, when we talk about being content, because when you're content, you don't have to focus on everything, there are so many things that pass by in the year. So you find there's a sale, there's this, there's that, all sorts of things that that sound attractive, look attractive. You go into stores, you find that, oh, maybe I could use this, maybe I could use that, but the reality is you don't need it. So one way that I rested One way that I rested this year was my no buy year. So Christopher, no, shopping, I enjoy it. There was a time in my life that I didn't, but I enjoy it, but not so much. It depends on what I'm doing. But I've come to realize that shopping gives you this feeling of this immediate gratification sometimes, but then afterwards you'll have like buyer's remorse because you're like, some I really never need that something. Yeah? And then you have it there for a little while, and the same ones that you've had for however long, those are the ones you use because those are the ones you enjoy. So for me, and in order to do my no buy year, I've stayed away from some of the stores. I don't have a credit card, as I mentioned before, and I don't go to some of the places that would force me into doing something. And I'm almost at the end. I'm in December. What is this now? December 6th. So we're almost at the end. Funny enough, I'm looking forward to January now because when me tell you, say, one of the first things I shall buy myself is a watch. You know what I mean? Because I waited long enough. And it's not even fancy. It's just a watch to put on. So almost every time that I get dressed, I will remember that, hey, V, you don't have your watch, And then I have to remind myself, like, hey, you know what? You don't need it. It's a no buy year, stick to it. And I am very proud of myself. And I'm sharing that with you because saying no to myself is what started this whole thing. And I've shared stories already in terms of how when I just started, I would go into stores and I would see things and I would have to talk myself down. In terms of telling myself that, hey, you don't need this. And you talk like you're justifying why you need it enough to yourself. You're like, no, but this would work well with this, or I could use this for this, or I could use this for this. Reality is, having done this a number of times, I realize that you always feel like you want more things, but you always have what you need. So Christopher, I saw you come in to say, help you to figure out how to do it. So the first thing that you're going to do is give yourself a grace period. So we're now in December. If you want to start in January, what you can do is give yourself a grace period, or February. So let's say you're using January to look around the house, look around in your closet, your car, whatever. And when I say no buy, I don't mean if your car needs to service, you have to do that. If your shoes goes, you have to replace that. If you have like a work shirt or pants that needs to be replaced, or anything is broken, you have to replace those that are needed. But what you do, you give yourself a grace period and say, okay, I'm going to start this in February. So from February 1 to December 1st, or whatever you're doing. And remember, you don't have to start big. You can start with a no buy week and see how it feels to say, oh wow, I went through the week and I didn't do all of this. So once you say, okay, so for me, my grace period in the coming year will be to mid-February, because I went 2 years. Because I started last year, and a friend of mine, when I was about to wrap up and get all excited, a friend of mine was like, why don't you go straight into the second one? I was like, I thought I needed some stuff, your mind, I said, no man, I need this, but I went straight into it, and as I said, I lost my watch. And what else did I lose? A mirror. Like, a mirror that you look into and stuff. But see how I didn't even remember that, because in the grand scheme of things, to me, the watch was more important. But yes, so you give yourself a grace period to get some of those things that you think you will need. Once you've gotten those things, you shut it down. So you stop. If you have the apps on your phone, delete them. Those shopping apps. If you're subscribed to the things, unsubscribe. If you have things like on Amazon or whatever, and you have things in your cart where they're always going to remind you, remember that you have things in your cart? Leave it out. Stay away from the friends. If you have friends, anything that you're getting over, and it's not just for shopping, just the people that you associate with can make you or break you. So ensure that you have people that will help you to stay focused, right? Yes, Christopher, it all boils down to commitment, but it also boils down to a dedication to what you are aspiring to do. So the no buy year, you should attach it to something. Let's say, for example, at the end of the year, you want to be able to pay off your credit card, for example. Whatever you'd be using to spend on other things, you focus all of that on your credit card and don't use it, and don't cause it to the payments to increase. You pay more than the minimum on the principal and stuff like that. Give yourself a goal, something that you want to achieve by the end of the year, and it will motivate you to go on. The reality is, there's gonna come a time when you don't feel like doing it. You're gonna say, well, I remember going into one of the stores one of the time, after my watch broke. This was after my birthday, and I was somewhere and I walked into the store and I was like, hey, the watch you look nice, man. So I said to myself in that mindset, we could buy one for your birthday. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, come too far to stop now. So those are the things. And then you just remain committed. But what I would say to you, Christopher, do not overwhelm yourself in the first instance. If this is the first time you're doing it, do not know by ear. Don't do it to yourself. Start with, thank you, Christopher. Start with a no buy month or a week. You will know what your spending habits are. Start with a no buy month, week. Then you move to 2 months. Skip a little, and then you will realize the spending pattern. Because what happens, you see, the moment you start spending, it's like you remember everything that you need to buy. All what you don't need to buy, is just I said, geez, I start buying also, like for us in Jamaica. We call it like a broke a $5,000 or break a $5,000 bill. It's like, you're like, okay, let me get this, let me get that thing, and before you know it, it's gone. And the things that you got, you didn't really need. So it causes more clutter for you at home, and then that you could have done something else with it. So I would say, just pace yourself. If you know that 1 year, all right, Casey, go and set up. I'll be here until you move over, and then I'll jump off. So if you know that 1 year will be too much, don't be so ambitious, and nothing is wrong with doing a week. What you need, you see that feeling of immediate gratification that you get when you just buy stuff and you're excited and whatever. Showing yourself that you can do it for a week gives you that excitement as well. And that is why I have not broken my no buy year, because I feel so proud of myself. Like buying myself a watch is like 1, 2, 3. Come on, I'm an adult. And the reality is you find watches from $500 all the way up to $15,000. So you have to figure out where you fall in the mix. Yeah. Probably even more, I don't know, but I'm just saying that's what I know. But, you just have to figure out where you are, what your spending habits are, and how you're going to deal with it. So that is how I wrap out my way of rest and reset. And I'm going to recap for you quickly, and then I'm going to make way for Casey to come on. So if you don't know, Casey is my sister. She's Casey Inspirational Tales, and she goes live at 8 o'clock on Saturdays. She has also started going live during the week, during her lunch period. It's like a lunch and lime kind of vibe. And then in the evenings after work to just allow traffic to run off a little bit, and then she'll go. All right, so let us recap. I am not you see the thing about it, Christopher, I'm not a brand name kind of person. So I can't even tell you. I just see something that I like, I buy it. Mind you, in between all of those things, 1 and 2 little brand name stuff will be in there, but I cannot say, oh, this is what I like. I hope you understand what I mean. I'm not so fussy to be like, I must get this type of thing, or I must get, no sir. When I tell people, I'm like, hold on, okay. Nike, Adidas, okay, great, thanks. But for me, no, I like, it just has to be a watch that is, I'm able to, just, it fits. And it look all right. It doesn't have to be quite expensive or whatever. I'm not that kind of person. When I get dressed, people will think that I buy very expensive things and that I do expensive things. But the reality is, One, I'm quite conscious of what I do. I was a Burlington girlie when I was in New York. Burlington and thrift stores, and what the other one name in Jamaica have there? Rainbow. What else? I can't remember, but yeah, those places. So like for me, as long as I go there and I see the thing and I like it, I'll buy it. So yeah, but when I blend everything together, it will work. Thank you so much for all your words of encouragement. You're welcome. So you're welcome, Robert. Yeah, man, Christopher. I like having a watch. I don't know. Call me old school. Yeah, man, Macy's. What I would do, I would start Macy's page until they have sale, and then I'll get what I want. But hey, never mind me. So Macy's, JC, Penny. Where else would I do that for? Forever 21, back when Forever 21 was, Forever 21ing, and so on. But no, I am. If I see something and I like it, I get it. If I don't, then yeah. But what's your man? I'm not one of those. Looks are quite deceiving, and I tell people all the time, don't make looks tricky, because especially for me, it doesn't take a lot for me to look expensive. You see, as my tailor would say, I wear the clothes don't wear me. So once I get myself together, it's a vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah. And confidence does a lot for you. It looks like Casey's live. Let's go over and check. No, so I'm not somebody, but let me thumbs up and say hi in the chat. But yes, I want to take a moment to thank you all for stopping by this evening. Thank you for chit-chatting with me. And I hope this live helped you to explore ways that you can rest and reset, not only in the form of sleep, but also other physical ways to rest, other spiritual ways to rest, other psychological ways to rest, as well as financial ways to rest. And if you didn't know before, I hope you learned something new this evening. I thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Head on over to Casey's Live. Her channel is called. Thank you very much, Christopher. And thank you for stopping by and engaging. I appreciate it. Head on over to Casey's Live. Her channel is called Casey Inspirational Tales. Let me type it in the chat quickly. And then I will jump off. All right. So that's the name of her channel. She's my sister. She does inspirational lessons, and she talks about her weight loss journey and other things that you can learn from as well. So don't be afraid to check her out. Tell her that you're coming from VC's Live. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, being here, even my people who are in the back. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next parish.